I just refreshed my banking app 3 times. I literally closed it, force quit the app on my phone, and opened it again because I genuinely thought it was a glitch. But the number is still there. It's staring right back at me in bold black font, not red. It says $100. Exactly $100. I know how that sounds. To a lot of people, $100 is just nothing. It's a tank of gas and a few snacks. It's a nice dinner out. But for me, seeing 3 digits in my savings account that actually stay there, that feels like I just climbed Mount Everest without oxygen. Usually my savings account is a revolving door of anxiety. Money goes in for 5 seconds, and then I panic transfer it back to checking because I forgot a bill or I just spent it. But today, it's different. Today, I have a emergency fund that isn't just a sad, empty folder. This is my real-time journey, not expert advice. Here is exactly what happened. You have to understand the context here. For the last 5 years, my financial strategy, if you can even call it that, has been pure survival mode. Stick figure animation. A stick figure me is juggling flaming balls labeled rent, food, and debt, looking sweaty and panicked. I've lived paycheck to paycheck, but honestly, it's been more like paycheck to 3 days before the next paycheck. Every time I tried to save, something would happen. A tire would blow out. A friend would have a birthday. Or, let's be real, I'd just get sad and order $60 worth of sushi because I felt like I deserved it. So, staring at this $100 feels weird. It feels fake. It feels like I'm holding a fragile egg and I'm terrified I'm going to drop it. Stick figure animation, me holding a giant golden egg labeled 100, tiptoeing across a floor covered in eggshells. The guilt isn't there, which is a new feeling. Usually looking at my bank balance makes my stomach turn. I usually open the app with one eye closed, bracing for impact, expecting to see a negative number or a single digit. But right now, there's this tiny, unfamiliar spark in my chest. Is this pride? Is this what security feels like? It's only $100, but it's the first time in forever that I feel like I'm controlling the money, instead of the money controlling me. But honestly, looking at that number, I need to be real about how it actually got there. Because it didn't happen by magic, and it definitely didn't happen because I suddenly got a raise or won the lottery. If I'm being brutally honest, getting to this $100 sucked. It was boring, it was frustrating, and it required me to say no about 50 times when every fiber of my being wanted to say yes. I want to break down exactly where these dollars came from because I think we glamorize saving money as this smooth, disciplined habit. For me, it was a street fight. Stick figure animation, a crude drawing of me boxing with a giant, angry wallet that has arms and legs. First, the coffee. I know. Every financial guru screams about the latte factor, and I usually roll my eyes at it. But I looked at my history and I was spending about $6 to $50 every morning on a vanilla cold brew. That's nearly $35 a week. So, for the last 3 weeks, I stopped. Cold turkey. I switched to making instant coffee at home. And let me tell you, that first week was miserable. It tasted like burnt dirt. Stick figure animation. Me drinking a steaming cup, face turning green, a tear rolling down the cheek. I miss the ritual. I miss the barista knowing my name. I felt deprived every single morning driving past the drive-thru, but I physically took that $6.50 every day and moved it to the savings account instantly. I didn't wait until the end of the week. I did it right then, in the parking lot at work, just to make sure I wouldn't spend it on a snack later. That accounted for roughly $40 of this total. Then there was the Friday night failure prevention. Usually Friday hits. I'm tired, I'm stressed, and I order takeout. Pizza, Thai, burgers, whatever hits the dopamine button. It's usually about $30 including tip. 2 Fridays ago, I had the app open. I had the pad thai in my cart. My thumb was hovering over place order. I could practically taste the peanut sauce. But I looked at my 1% goal sticky note on my monitor. I closed the app. I went to the kitchen and made scrambled eggs and toast, It was a sad dinner. Stick figure animation, me sitting alone at a table with a single piece of toast, looking out the window at a delivery scooter driving by. It wasn't fun, and I felt like a cheapskate, but that was another $30 saved. The last $25 came from selling stuff. I looked around my apartment and realized I was hoarding junk I never use. I found an old pair of headphones that were gathering dust in a drawer. I listed them on Marketplace, dealt with 3 people who ghosted me, and finally met a guy in a grocery store parking lot who handed me a crumpled $20 bill and a $5 bill. It was awkward and took time, but I drove straight to the ATM and deposited it. The final $5, that was just pure scraping. Loose change from the car cup holder, finding a dollar in a winter coat pocket, and deciding not to buy a soda at the gas station 3 times in a row. So, when you see this 100, don't see financial success. See the burnt coffee. See the sad Friday night eggs. See the awkward parking lot meetup. Stick figure animation, a montage of these 3 sad events circling the glowing 100 bill. It wasn't one big decision. It was 100 tiny, annoying decisions that I had to make over and over again. And the hardest part wasn't the math. The hardest part was the FOMO, the fear of missing out. I had to sit with the discomfort of not buying the thing I wanted right that second. I had to learn that the world wouldn't end if I didn't have my cold brew. But here's the crazy part. Looking at the $100 now, the taste of that bad instant coffee is gone. The memory of the sad toast is gone, but the money is still here. And that trade-off, for the first time, it actually feels worth it. This brings me to the biggest realization, the part that actually made me tear up a little bit when I saw that balance. It's not about the buying power of $100. I know $100 won't even make a dent in my total debt pile. It's a drop in the ocean. But for the longest time, I honestly believed that I was just genetically bad with money. I told myself that being broke was just my personality, that I was too disorganized or too impulsive to ever have a savings cushion. I had accepted that identity. Stick figure animation. Me looking in a mirror, and the reflection is a stick figure labeled "The Spender" shrugging helplessly. But this $100 proves that story was a lie. This is the core of the 1% philosophy I'm trying to live by. James Clear talks about how habits are just votes for the type of person you want to become. For years, I was casting votes for the spender. Every impulse buy was a vote for that guy. But for the last 3 weeks, every time I drank that terrible instant coffee, and every time I ate those sad eggs, I was casting a vote for a new identity. The saver. That's why I'm protecting this $100 with my life. Stick figure animation, me dressed as a knight in armor holding a shield in front of the 100 bill. It's not just cash, it's proof of concept. It's evidence that I can actually change my behavior. The system worked. I didn't need willpower, I just needed to lower the barrier to saving and raise the barrier to spending just by 1% a day. Moving forward, I'm not setting a goal to save $1 million. That's too big. It's too scary. My next goal is just to add one single dollar to this pile tomorrow. Just one. Because if I can keep this stash growing, even by pennies, it means I'm finally walking in the right direction. And for the first time in my life, I'm actually excited to see where this path goes. My 1% mission for this week is to simply keep this $100 in the account. I am not allowed to touch it, no matter what. That is my only job. What is your 1% step? Can you find just $5 this week? Maybe sell one old book or skip one treat? Let me know in the comments if you managed to save your first $5. Let's celebrate the tiny wins together. I am not a financial expert or advisor. This content is for documenting my personal journey and for entertainment purposes only. Please do your own research before making any financial decisions.